You're listening to the Things of That Nature podcast. Coming to you from a city that never sleeps is me, your host, Rockshana. I invite you to join me in truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. Even though we're no longer in the mile high, the sky is still the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things of That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rockshana, and today we have yet again a new friend of mine who has a lot to talk about what a lot of people are dealing with right now. I think this is an aspect that everyone can use, no matter what realm of work you have or just in general. It's always good to know. So today, my new friend is Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. And you know, Julie, I didn't say your last name, even though we went over it, just because I thought I was going to say it wrong. So today, everyone, my new friend is Julie Foucht.
Perfect. You did it perfect.
I just understand the importance of names, and I know I sometimes get upset when people say mine wrong. So I always hate to say someone's name wrong.
You know, my maiden name is Cornwall, which you would think would be really easy. But the whole time I was growing up, people tried so hard to pronounce Cornwall wrong. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, I hear you. I know exactly what you mean. So, Julie, you are in California. You're like my Vegas neighbor.
Yeah, I'm over here on the coast near Monterey, and I can get to you in a day. I could get in my car and drive, and we could be at the Bellagio tonight.
Fun. All right, I'll see you later.
We have a plan. I am bringing the 10-year-old and 8-year-old granddaughter, so I don't know how that'll go.
Neat. So, Julie, your aspect, like I said in my intro, and I hope everyone is paying attention to that, because your realm is just something that's important to everyone, no matter what type of job they have, no matter what they're doing. I think it's just important. I struggle with it and actually doing it myself. So how did you get into the marketing world?
Yeah, that's a really great question. When I started my coaching practice way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, my focus was I was going to coach business women who held jobs, and some men, right? So it was like really everybody. Then I was told to pick a niche. So I coached business women on their whole life. And the longer I was in business, now it's true that your life and your business are related. And so sometimes life stuff does get involved in business. But the more I got involved in coaching women around their business, the more I saw that they just didn't like marketing themselves, right? Even people who have been involved in marketing with other companies and they're really good at it, they're like, but when it comes to me, I can't talk about me. Mm-hmm. And it's not about the marketing. It's about our own self-worth. It's about how we hold ourselves. And it's about that fear of what happens if we get seen. And when you think about it for women, especially, and I primarily and only, I don't know why I said primarily, at this point in my business, I only coach women. And it's not that I don't love men, but I just am so steeped in feminine wisdom at this point that that's where I can be most helpful. So when we look at the evolution of business, first of all, if you go back 400, 500 years, what happened to powerful, strong, outspoken women who talked about what they did? They were called witches. witches. They were burned at the stake. They were thrown in the river, right? Coming forward into the suffragette movement and women's rights. And do you know that those women were considered less than feminine? That there was something wrong with them? That they wanted a vote? That they wanted equal rights? There must be something wrong with them. And they were treated that way. And then we even look at today, what happens to powerful, strong women in our country and in the world today? They're criticized, they're harassed in ways that men aren't. We look at nasty women. They must be nasty women. They must be, and women online, the things that are said and the trolls, they don't go after men in the way that they go after women. And so for a woman to stand up and say, hey, I'm in business, I'm great, I'm wonderful, she opens the door to all of that. And she's got that ancestral stuff coming through that says, this could be life-threatening if you are out there being public and bragging on your skills and your wisdom. And so for me, it's more than just, here's how to market. As a matter of fact, that's the smallest piece of it. For me, it's about how do we heal those wounds, those ancestral wounds that we carry? How do we become so strong in our own self that we are willing to take a chance that a troll is going to come up and bite us? And how do we create systems and communities to protect us from that kind of stuff? If I get a troll on my social media, which doesn't happen to me very often anymore. When I first started talking about this, it did. But if I get a troll now, my community rises up and overwhelms that because I've built the community. And then I think that there's some spiritual elements that we can put in place that sort of make us invisible to the trolls, but make us visible to the people we're meant to serve. So that's kind of a long answer. I studied a few years ago with a teacher who does a different kind of marketing, and I was like, oh, this all fits. We need to have a way of putting our businesses out there that is really authentic, that it reflects who we really are, and that absolutely lets our people know and then turns away the people that we're not meant to serve, because you're not meant to serve everybody.
Right.
And you know what? To make a 6 or 7 figure income, you don't need to serve everybody. You just need that little pocket of people that are yours.
Mm-hmm. With it being marketing, did you have some type of background, or did a certain incident happen that triggered this niche, so to say, for you?
I have a background in public relations. When my kids have a really eclectic kind of background, I think a lot of entrepreneurs do. When my kids were growing up, I was pretty much a stay-at-home mom who volunteered way too many hours in the week. So my ex-husband had a construction company. My then husband, that's what we call him. My then husband had a construction company, and I did all the bookkeeping, secretarial for him. And then I volunteered about 40 hours a week. And so I ran school board elections, and I did a community event for 5,000 people. We drew 5,000 people, and I chaired that. And I was in the classrooms, and I did all of that. And I really learned how to do public relations. And I learned how to talk to the media. And I actually learned how to spin things for the audience, so the right audience would hear what we wanted them to hear. And it was a great education because I got to do it without having to pay for it. I just put in the time. And then I went to work for a PR company and really honed my public relations skills. And public relations is related to marketing. public relations is how do you influence a particular audience in a certain way. And that's all public relations is. And marketing is the same thing. How are we going to influence your audience to take the action that you want them to take? So I guess I had prepared myself without knowing I was preparing myself to do this work. And then I was with a coach, one of my coaches one day, and we were talking about the language that you use to attract clients and how to come up with a language that really reflects both the desires and the fears of your people. And I'm like, oh, this is the art of feminine marketing. And we both went, oh, yes, that's it.
That's actually a neat name. It's one of those like light bulb moments that you weren't even expecting. That's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely was. And it's been a really successful program for me.
Neat. So how do you think your program in like having created it and helping others, how do you think it is helping women now and continuing?
Oh, that's such a big question. Well, I think the first thing to understand is that when you are marketing something, there's 3 levels to marketing. And I'm going to get around to your question in a second, but you've got to understand there are 3 levels of marketing. There's the heart level, which is actually the heart is where people buy. And in marketing, we use the away from and towards marketing. The away from is the emotions that people are trying to get away from. The toward is the emotions they're trying to get towards. So if you can nail what your magic marketing words are, and we do that through a process where we go into childhood wounds and we actually mine those words out. And we pull out the words that are going to attract your right clients. And if I'm using those words, then my clients are going to come towards me. Now, the second thing you have to do, the second piece of the marketing is the head, because the heart decides, but the head makes you justify. So the head goes, what's the ROI on that? Is this going to be worth it? Why? I know you love that person, but what are we going to get out of working with them? And so in your marketing, you've got to have both. Now, for many people in the transformational world, they want to talk about their transformation, right? A lot of coaches, a lot of healers are talking about becoming your full self, becoming your authentic self, creating an amazing life. That's all the transformation work. And the head and the heart don't buy that. It's unconscious. And so the biggest thing that my people get is the transformation. But I can't market the transformation because nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what? Man, I need to discover my unconscious wounds and heal my past life. And then things will be good. They wake up and they go, God, I've got to lose 5 pounds before that party in 2 weeks. And man, I need to make more money. And oh my gosh, if I could just get my kids to listen to me. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that people are thinking about.
Yeah.
And so one of the big mistakes that people make is they market their transformation when the transformation people aren't thinking about. Now, if I heal my childhood wounds, then I'm going to start treating my kids differently because I'm not going to be treating them out of the wounded me. I'm going to be treating them out of the adult me. And then they're going to listen more. But people don't think that. They don't wake up and think, I need to heal my childhood issue with my mother, right?
Nope, not at all.
So when you ask me, what is the biggest thing about my program? Well, it's the transformation that women have. Is they're able to stand in their power. It's that they're able to dance with money and open the flow of money for more of it to come to them.